really know what that means. This is a rare map written during the golden age of Christ, and I'll show y'all a quick video from the official narrative describing it. It's only about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'm going to break down the symbolism as it is.
The Psalter map is one of the best surviving examples of a medieval mappamundi. It is an illustrated map of the world, drawn on animal skin and bound into a tiny book of prayers. This is the world through the eyes of the 13th century Christian church, where the earth is a round disk, split into the three landmasses of Asia, Europe, and Africa. The Garden of Eden can be seen at the highest point, which is east on this map. Turn the image round, and its shape makes more sense. Above the world, there is a depiction of Christ, overseer of humanity, painted with a vivid red pigment and a gold leaf halo. The TO-shaped orb shows that Christ holds the world in his hands. The map itself contains dozens of biblical stories from the Old Testament, such as Gog and Magog, caged in the land of the unclean, and Moses parting the waters of the Red Sea. The New Testament is also prevalent, with Jerusalem placed at the center of the world, where Christ lived, taught, and died. Beyond the biblical, a striking feature of the Psalter map is found in Africa, where 14 humanoid figures are seen on its outer edge. These monstrous races symbolize the medieval anxiety of unknown lands. The Psalter map does show us the world.
Okay, I cut it off right there because he begins then to rabble about the shape of the earth, blah, blah, blah. But I want y'all to listen and watch this clip of Revelation 20 about it describing the golden age of Christ and the 1,000-year reign and Satan being bound and loosed. Play close attention, please.
Chapter 20. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed a little season. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power. But they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Okay, so what it looks like it could be depicting is Satan looks like he's bound under, and Christ is depicted reigning, and everyone reigning in his spirit. If y'all have a better explanation in the comments. Then we have Adam and Eve depicted, and the tree of life in the middle. Then we have the rock of Moses, like in the story of Moses, when he hit the rock with the stick, and it depicts the river of life. On to the center of the map, it seems there's a lot of pyramids, look like Roman pyramids, and in the center is Jerusalem. Interesting. It seems to be spelled with a H for the Latin instead of J. From the rock, you can see rivers that flow out of Eden. We can see Ganges, Euphrates, Tigris. It looks like it could be the Nile, and I'm not too sure. This is a very similar map, similar to the previous. And as you can see, depicted up top is Christ. This is from the 1300s. As you can see, is the Alpha and the Omega at the top left and top right. That is it for this video. There will be a lot more like this. I think the next one I'm gonna do a friendly video about.
And like everything we look at, I think it has two sides. You can look at it up or you can look at it down. Let's look at I'll bring up the cover. And basically, the way I see this, all the higher abstract scientific concepts, I see them as symbolic concepts. Like, they're actually telling us about consciousness rather than a physical world. And in true fractal Mandelbrot Ouroboros fashion, not only are the scientific concepts that are presented metaphors, but the stories of the stories are symbolic. Like this whole character, Stephen Hawking, the whole character is a symbol and a metaphor. Okay? And you could look at it two ways. The one way is the universe in a nuts hell. Like, Satan is the lord of this world. That's the world we're in. You know, that's who the lord of this world is. The upside down, the inverted, fallen reality. Ruled by a psychopath. That's the nuts hell. The universe in a nuts hell. But the other way, also you see the symbol of the walnut. It looks just like a brain. See the open shell, and it's also like two circles. Because the other universe in a nutshell is like Christ. It's all in the mind of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made in Him and through Him. And without Him was not anything made. Like, everything is in Christ, the Lamb sacrificed from the foundation of the world. This is my body. This is my blood. That's the positive way. And also, it's like the nutshell is the sacred almond.
B, that makes a circle. But these two single points are clones, and those 2 points have equal potential. So not only can point A rotate around point B, but point B can also rotate around point A. This is one radius that both circles share. That black form in the middle there, that's called the Vesica Piscis. The Vesica Piscis is literally the womb of the universe. This is the whole essence of the universe. I'm not kidding. Sounds like a real crazy thing to say, but... And this shape in the middle that it makes, called the Vesica Piscis, is the whole root of sacred geometry. Literally, every single thing that exists, and I'm not kidding, everything that exists springs out of this. It sounds like a wild, improbable, crazy thing to say, but it's absolutely true. So, you can't learn about the Vesca Pisces in a few minutes. This is an unbelievably deep and rich form, literally the womb of the universe. Everything that is springs out of the Vesca Pisces, everything. All unfolding and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling into what we see.
Also, it's like the nutshell is the sacred almond. In all the old Gothic Middle Ages art and all the Gothic cathedrals in Europe, they always show Christ in what they call the sacred almond. It's really the Vesica Pisces, two circles intersecting. They call it the sacred almond. So you can see in these Middle Ages depictions, Gothic depictions, this is the sacred almond. They always have Christ in. You'll see there's one coming up in the stone portal. He has the E above his head, the 5-man E, the Emmanuel. And to me, it's the two circles. It's the intersection, the place where every eye will see him, like the real reality, the mind of God, where everyone's reality intersects. That's what's real for everyone. And it's also like the Jesus fish, you know, it's the same thing. If you have two circles crossing, that's the same symbol as the Jesus fish, and it's really the same symbol also as the cross. It's just the straight version and the curved version, the masculine version and the feminine version. The straight cross, but it's the crossing point where everything intersects, where everything crosses. You know, in alchemy or other occult terms, it's the crossroads. Mercury. But that's the good nutshell. So that's the other version of this, is the mind of God. The Word and the Witness, the Lamb with 7 eyes, the stone with 7 eyes, the thought, observer of thought. So the sacred almond is the other version of the nutshell. So it's nuts hell, a nuts hell, Satan, Lord of this world, or it's all in the mind of God if you think it all as a purpose and you have acceptance, and then it's the sacred almond. So first, also keep in the back of your mind Stephen King. Stephen Hawking, Stephen King, they're very closely related symbolically. So Stephen is circle. It's the first martyr, the proto-martyr, Stephen, the first martyr. So it's like a Christ-type symbol, martyr symbol. And it means, originally had a more general meaning of any circle. Nature of reality, time, circle, meaning wreath or crown. I'm not going to keep bringing it up again and again, but you know, that broken middle pillar, crown, that link to knowing, to God, the Holy Spirit. So that's Stephen, the first martyr, and crown or circle. So Stephen Hawk King. The Hawk King is Horus. You see how his hat's just like the Pope hat also. It's also just like a bowling pin. How many bowling pins? 10. The Hawk King. Stephen Hawk King, which is like a Christ type figure. I think they're all like echoes of Jesus. If time is a circle and it's all these rings stacked on top of each other, like the further out you look, it gets more and more distorted. But they're all like echoes, reflections of the same, whether they're before or after or anywhere in time, because he's the Alpha and the Omega. Also, all those things like that. I am the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending. If you think of a straight line, all these things are very difficult to understand. But if you think of a circle, these things make perfect sense. The first and the last point on a circle, yeah, it makes perfect sense. The beginning and the ending of a circle are both the same person, same point, same event. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I think all these different, whatever they may be, where they have these similar elements, are all sort of some kind of echoes through time of just the one story. And some are closer, some are further off, some are more distorted, some have different characters overlaid in different places, but they're all. So that's Stephen, the circle, Hawk King, Horus. Okay, and this is also like I've heard people talking lately about St. George, how that could have been Christ's return. St. George, it's the same, the time. He's in the center of time, in the circle, the center, the Vesica Pisces. You could also look at it as like where things actually happen objectively in reality. None of us see that. We have the beam in our eye, the crown of thorns in our eyes. We all experience a subjective reality. And there is a range, a certain consensus reality within that everyone agrees on. But then there's infinite other elements that are not consensus in everyone's each subjective reality. So none of us even see objective reality. So like where Christ exists, where events actually take place in that sacred almond. But I'm just going to show this markup real quick. But this is the sacred almond. This is the Vesica Pisces, this little sliver of consensus reality, which everyone has in common. But no one actually sees. Everyone is existing behind the veil at all different levels of awareness in all different belief sets, and they're experiencing all different subjective realities. And they only share this little bit of consensus reality between them, which there has to be a minimum consensus. No one can be allowed to diverge past that, or they'll cease to exist in the same reality. And there's a whole control system in place which administrates that, prevents people from diverging too far out of the consensus reality. I don't have to get into all that right now, but so none of us see this. We have a beam in our eye. What we see is all these reflections, like we're in the water, and the sun is real up there in the sky, but under the water you can't see the real sun. Like you see one brightest reflection, which is like the Bible or Jesus, like our truth, our manual.
Or J always stands for either Jesus or Jesus. Sometimes they use the I, sometimes they use the J. 2. The way they wrote back then is not exactly how we write today, which explains why sometimes letters or numbers look a little different. 3. The end of this video is going to prove without a doubt that they fabricated the history. So if the coins are not enough, stay till the end. 4. This video is especially for the skeptics. If you have a better explanation, then leave it in the comments. Lastly, this video is very beginner friendly, so feel free to share with your friends.
The spirit of a sorcerer imposes his will for a thrill. Black magic, how tragic as he moves in for the kill. A spell was cast into the air of electrical magnetic waves, broadcast into the ears of malleable innocent brains, stealing the imagination imaginations of all the little boys and girls across the nation. Well, there's witches on the radio. Oh no, there's witches on the radio. Oh no, there's witches on the radio. Masters of illusion, causing great confusion. The spirit of Jezebel takes a hold of your body and soul. Different witch, same bitch, and you know that you won't let it go. Like a siren upon the rocks, seducing every sailor with song, luring every ship to wreck, while the music lingers on and on. Stealing the imaginations of all the little boys and girls across the nation. Well, there's witches on the radio. Oh no, there's witches on the radio. Oh no, there's witches on the radio. Masters of illusion, causing great confusion. You better watch out. I need is to feel safe again.
Okay, still not convinced. This is where I prove it. We have a book from 1642, okay? 1642. You see the I, but okay, 1642. Say the I is really a 1. Well, let's actually go into the book and see for itself. Okay, so we have this old book open. So this is supposed to be 1642. Year 1642. Okay, let's go into the actual book. I already know where it is, so let's scroll down. Okay. The actual book is showing August without, there's no I or J. 619. August of 619. I translated it. And it shows at the College of St. Thomas in Madrid in August 619. That's the real year. No even I there. Let's go further. This gives us the actual date that they're talking about. 21st of August in the year 619. Not I-619, not 1619, but 619. Mind you, this book is supposed to be written in what they say is 1642. That is enough proof on its own. There is plenty more, but I'm just gonna stop it at that.
His name is Krampus.
Krampus, another hidden truth drop alluding to Revelation 20 and Satan being unbound from the abyss.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle.
This time being revealed through medieval folklore. And it isn't the character itself exactly that's so strange, but the fact that it's almost always depicted as being broken free or unchained from chains. But what's even stranger is that the true origin of this character is not able to be traced past the late medieval era. That being said, if this is truly symbolizing or foreshadowing Satan being unbound from the abyss, it wasn't too long ago. Now let's get into the false history that they portray about this character, starting with this Smithsonian article. It's filled with many errors and doesn't cite its sources. Here it states, the roots date back to pre-Germanic paganism in the region. His name originates with the German Krampus, which means claw, and tradition has it that he's the son of the Norse god of the underworld, Hel. But this article gets some things blatantly wrong. Firstly, in Norse mythology, Hel is a goddess, not a god. Also, Krampus is not mentioned in any Old Norse sources, and Old Norse was never spoken in Austria or even southern Germany, and the article fails to cite any sources that claim Krampus comes from some type of ancient pagan mythology. And that's because there are none, because Krampus is a not so ancient folklore, having broken chains symbolizing him being unbound from the abyss, just as Revelation 20 says. And that being said, how this character symbolizes probably the worst thing that can be symbolized. Look how they honor this thing around the world. Now, this is a warning because these next few clips are pretty wicked and disturbing. As you can see, it's quite strange that grown men take part in these types of acts. And the comments don't make it any better. One person personally states, "These guys will really hurt you. They were drunk and had no problem giving you scars." Another stated, "I seriously remember when one guy had this hard stick broom thing and hit me. It was so hard it gave me deep bruisings inside and some out. They would also bang on our doors and never stopped." And it seems these people have some type of obsession with dancing as demons. And if you remember the London tunnel opening ceremony, they had a similar thing. As seen, some creepy stuff, but back to the subject of Krampus. So it doesn't seem to come from some ancient pagan sources, but he does, however, resemble the depictions of Satan from those notorious medieval giant books. Now, the history of those books are quite a mystery, because during the wars in the 1600s, they're being moved, stolen, etc., which fuzzies up the origin. But as you can see here, this manuscript symbolizes the same character. Lastly, it's also often wondered why he's usually associated with Saint Nick. And according to the earliest medieval legends, Saint Nick was a known exorcist, which is likely why they became associated. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, consider subscribing, and